Good evening, guys. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. I'm John Ray Leos Uganap, and I'm the first one to present my report about Norse mythology. Norse mythology was the topic given to us, Group 3. Okay. Norse mythology. It's a collection of myths from Scandinavia and North Germanic tribes. When we say Scandinavia, it's composed of Denmark, Sweden, and Norway collectively. Okay. My report includes the Norse creation myth, Norse gods and goddesses, and also that includes Odin and the story, the tales of Odin, including how he lost his one eye. Okay, so here we can see the Yggdrasil and the 9 worlds. Okay, but before we proceed with the creation myth, okay, how everything's created according to Norse mythology, or according to Scandinavian tribes, how the world was created. Let's have first Snorri Sturluson, and he's the author of the Prose Edda. Okay. Snorri Sturluson. You might not heard about him before, but he is an Icelandic poet, historian, and chieftain, author of the Prose Edda and the Heimskringla. He was born 1179 in Iceland and died September 22, 1241. He died through assassination. So Prose Edda and Heimskringla, what are these? What are these? Prose Edda and also the Heimskringla are Iceland's oldest recordings and sources of Norse mythology. These are the counterpart of, let's say, this serve as the counterpart of the Christian's Bible. Just like the Bible from the original scriptures, these old recordings are revised and made into simpler form and have different versions. Different versions depending on the region. There's different version of Norse mythology in Scandinavia and Iceland, and just different ways and how to pronounce names depending on the place, depending on the version that particular place has. So, if we try to observe the Bible, the Christianity Bible, the old version of the Bible that uses archaic words such as thou, thine, thee, thy, diba? Otherwise, the new version have simpler word choice, and it's easier to comprehend. What I'm trying to say is that through Prose Edda, Snorri Sturluson updated the stories of the Norse god, the Aesir, or the tribe of gods, for his own time. In a post-Viking age, with people Christianized, Sturluson's recording helped ensure they survived. He was assassinated in 1241, but his words nevertheless persist. Yeah. As we progress with our discussion about Norse mythology, you will discover different things about just like the other myths. Everything's for me. Everything's exaggerated. Yeah. Well, we can't blame uh people because in order to answer questions before, people tend to create stories just to answer questions. To answer questions, still they don't have the answers for. As we progress, we will find out how different or similar Norse gods and goddesses from their famous Marvel Cinematic Universe counterparts. I'm not a fan of MCU, but I'm familiar with it. I've seen, not all, but most of uh, their movies, and I can, as I read the Norse mythology about Thor, uh, Loki, and Odin. Yeah, there's a big difference and somehow similar about the stories, and also how to pronounce the gods and goddesses names depending on, as what I have said, depending on what version or place it came from. Yeah. Also, I've discovered as we go on with the discussion, we'll further explain these things, which includes how Loki has fathered a lot of weird kids, includes Hel, the goddess of the the goddess of the dead, and Fenrir, the furious wolf, and also different weird creatures. Yeah, that's why Loki is the god of mischief, right? And also Thor is a giant eating maniac. Why? Because he killed like numerous giants using his Mjolnir, and we'll also be discussing about it, how he got his lightning hammer, his powerful hammer. Yeah. Also in Marvel Comics, Loki is an adopted son, brother to Odin and Thor, but in Norse mythology, it has been alluded he and Odin are blood brothers. Yeah, it's this one of my discoveries. And in Norse creation myth, uh, we will explain how Mother Earth is a cow and we will all live in a giant's corpse. and also how Odin left only with one eye. Those are only few of things that we want to discuss. So yeah, just chill, relax as as we try our best to explain and tell stories about Norse mythology. Before I tell you the story of creation in Norse mythology, let us have first a quick review, or say introduction, of the main gods and goddesses of Norse mythology. Okay, here. Yeah, so we have first Ymir. Ymir. As what I have observed, Icelandic way of pronouncing their names, they are really particular with tongue rolling. I don't know if I got it right, but yeah, Ymir. Ymir is a hermaphroditic giant. Say hermaphroditic from the word hermaphrodite, the condition of having a female and male reproductive organ, being able to reproduce uh, offspring all by himself or herself. Yeah, and the first Ymir, he's the first creature to come into being in the Norse creation myth. Yeah, later we'll discuss it further. As the first giant, he's the ancestor of all of the other giants, and since almost all the gods are partially descended from giants, he's their ancestor as well. Yeah, before the gods and goddesses, their first giants. Yeah, just like in Greek mythology, right? There are giants, other titans, yeah. There are cyclopes and this what you call, I forgot, but yeah, titans, giants. Before gods and goddesses came to existence. Another name for Ylmir in some Old Norse poems is Augelmir, which means sand or gravel screamer. Yeah, that's it. Next we have Bestla. Yeah, Bestla is the mother of the gods Odin, Vili, and Ve by way of Bor. The Bestla, the sister of an unnamed being who assisted Odin. Yes, and Bestla, the daughter of the Jotun, Bolthorn. And Bolthorn was one of the first frost giant or Jotnar. Yeah. When we say Jotun is a giant, yeah. Jotun means giant. Besla, the mother of Odin, and yeah, and Bor as their father. Okay, Odin. Okay, we are familiar with Odin, right? Odin, master of all the Norse gods and goddesses, could transform into a human disguise and walk amongst the mortals. He is, I think, is where the shape-shifting powers of Loki came from. I don't know, but yeah, he is the Loki. I mean Odin. He is the divine patron of outcasts. Odin, the war god and the giver of wisdom. He is the father of Thor, Baldur, Hoder, Tyr, and Vali. Odin only has what you call this, one eye, as what I have said, and later I will explain why he got his one eye. He lost. I mean, he lost his one eye. Sorry. The other empty eye socket represents his sacrifice to wisdom. Yeah, I'll explain how he thirsts for wisdom. Okay, next we have Thor, one of Odin's sons, the god of thunder and lightning. Has a chariot pulled by two goats. Yeah, the story behind this two goats. He can kill these goats and eat them, and they will come back to life. Actually, there's a time na wala sila makaon. That's why he killed and ate these goats. And after they ate the bones, uh, I mean, binuhay niya ulit yung two goats out of yung mga bones na natira. He's capable of drinking an ocean. Yeah, yung story about nito nung pumunta sila sa Land of Giants. Mjolnir is his weapon. Yeah, the lightning hammer. He's also the god of fertility, law, thunder in the sky. Thor is very strong and violent. He uses his hammer to defeat his enemies. Yeah, mostly giants. Thor's father is Odin and his mother is Georgian. Yeah, that's Georgian. Okay, we have here Balder, or Baldur, the beautiful and the good, primarily known for his death and resurrection. Yeah, his death is na kinalaman, I mean, si Loki, si Young Death. The favorite child of Odin. Not just Odin, but also his mother. Balder is the god of light, joy, purity, and the summer sun in Norse mythology, and a son of the god Odin, the goddess Frigg. Yeah. His mother Frigg. According to Gylfaginning, Balder's wife is Nanna and their son is Forseti. Snorri relates that Balder had the greatest ship ever built called the Ringhorning, and there's no place more beautiful than his hall, Breidablik. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's may nakalimutan ako. In in Icelandic pronunciation of their names, we are nasanay na Odin, diba? But in Icelandic accent, it's called Uden. Not Odin, it's Uden. It's not Thor, but Tur. Baldur, and not Loki, but Luke. Yeah, they're really particular tongue rolling. Yeah, Loki or Luke, we all know that he's the god of mischief, the wizard of lies, also the god of fire. Yeah. Loki was known as the evil god of Asgard. He killed Odin's son, Balder, by tricking Hod to throw mistletoe. Hod is a blind god. Yeah. And throw mistletoe at him. Balder died because he was allergic to mistletoe. that's it. His sons are Narfi and Vali. But not just them. We'll just further introduce later on the son and daughters of Loki. Loki is currently held hostage until the end of the world, or say the Ragnarok. Next we have Bragi, the god of poetry and eloquence. Loki calls him Braggart, which means to brag. And he was married to Idun. Yeah, Idun is the goddess of immortality, keeps the golden apple of youth. She's also the goddess of spring and eternal youth. She's meek and kind. She appreciates poetry. That's why she's married to the god Bragi, the god of poetry and eloquence. Eden is the daughter of Evald. She's the keeper of magic apples of immortality. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we have here Frey, god of agriculture, fertility, and plenty, twin brother of Freya. Okay, if in Greek mythology we have um, Apollo and Artemis, right? We have in Norse mythology Frey and Freya. And Freya are earth deities, has a sword that can fight by itself. Boar is his symbol. Yeah, that's Frey, the god of health and abundance. He is passionate and fair. Frey is described as hated by none because his benevolence allowed for others' well-being. Frey's father is Nord. His wife is his sister Freya. Frey was often the recipient of animal sacrifices for fertility and harvest. Here Freya, goddess of love and fertility, slept with four dwarfs to get a flaming necklace, which became her symbol of fertility. Leader of Valkyries, has a chariot drawn by cats. So, goddess of love, the Aphrodite's counterpart. Freya is the goddess of love, beauty, and fine material possessions. She is the patron goddess of soldier killed in battle. She is artistic and magical. Freya is very beautiful and admired for her fun personality. Her father is Nord. Frey is her brother, yeah, and husband as well. Freya has also been linked romantically to Odin. Freya possesses falcon plumes which allow people to shapeshift into falcons. Frigg, mother goddess, wife of Odin, weaves clouds. Frigg is the Norse counterpart for Greek's Hera. Frigg weaves clouds. She knows that events in present and future, but powerless to change them. Yeah, he foresee the future, but she can't. I mean, she can't change what's. I mean, the events that's coming. So we have Tyr, god of war, precursor of Odin, boldest of the gods, lost his hand to Fenrir. Yeah. Actually, they are also, like, close or some friends with Fenrir. Spear is a symbol of justice. God of War, the Ares counterpart. Next, we have Heimdall, the world brightener, god of the dawn. Has great hearing, can hear grass grow, and eyesight. The lookout for Bifrost. Bifrost is, if you're familiar with the bridge in Asgard, like parang siyang rainbow na bridge that connects the outside world to the Asgard. Yeah, that's the Bifrost, and Heimdall is the Bantay, or the lookout on Bifrost. Hod, yeah, I mentioned Hod earlier, god of winter and darkness, blind, tricked by Loki into killing Balder. Valley killed Hod in revenge for Balder. Yeah. But Hod will return in Ragnarok. Okay. Later on we'll find out how. Okay, Sif, goddess of fertility and of the earth, she is also known as the goddess of the grain. She's very vain, as she was very upset when her hair was cut off by Loki. She is the wife of Thor, the storm god. Her son is Uller. With Tyr, he has a daughter named Truder and two sons named Magni and Modi. Yeah, uh, her hair was cut off by Loki. But Sif's new hair grew back as if it were her own to the help of the dwarfs. Yeah, there's a story, tales also about it. I think it's Loki's tale. Okay, Hel, the daughter of Loki, giantess, goddess of death and underworld. Yeah, half black, half white. Her face and body are human, but her legs are of a corpse. Has two servants, Gang Ganglati and Ganglot. Spreads a plague with a rake or broom. Goddess of the underworld, is thought to be very cruel. She is greedy and indifferent to the affairs of both the living and the dead. Her face is uh, piebald, meaning it is half human and half blank. Yes, as I have said, like, this is thought to be because she is half dead and half alive. She is the daughter of Loki and Angerboda. She is thought to have brought disease to the world. Hell means the hidden or concealed. Yeah. And I guess because of his half face, which is hideous, he was put to the underworld. Okay, we have here Mimir. We also encounter Mimir, how uh how Odin lost his one eye. Mimir, a wise giant who dwells in a well located in Rime Torosar, is the keeper of the well of wisdom Mimir's Brunn, which is located deep beneath one of the roots of Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil, yung malaking tree with the nine worlds. The name Mimir comes from the ancient Norse meaning the rememberer and the wise one. Yeah, that's Mimir. Valkyries. Yeah, pinamumunuan ni Freya. Female spirit warriors that ride the battlefields and find worthy slain warriors and take them to Valhalla, where they will train until Ragnarok. Valkyries, the northern lights, are light shining off their shields. Are you okay? Are we familiar with the northern lights, the aurora borealis? Yeah. Uh, aurora borealis can be seen in Iceland. And according to them, it's all because of the Valkyries, because of it's because the light shining off their shields. That's why we have the the northern lights. That's how they answer questions before. Why we have this kind of lights? Because of the Valkyries. shields. Yeah, that's it. Those are the gods and goddesses of the Norse mythology. I mean, I know I missed something about the gods and goddesses, but they are the main. Now, we will discuss other worlds and creatures. Yeah, and this is Yggdrasil, the tree of the universe. Yeah, and through its roots, you can see the nine worlds, the Asgard. Okay, the Midgard where the human lives, the Muspelheim. Yeah, those are the worlds. Yggdrasil has three roots that spread all over the world. One root among the Aesir, or the tribe of gods, another among the Rimtursar, and the third the depths of Niflheim. Yeah, as you can see, we have the Asgard, the place of the gods. Yeah, in Greek mythology we have the Mount Olympus. In Norse we have the Asgard. In Asgard, we can see the Gladsheim and the Vingolf, the two immense fortresses in the middle of plains of Ida in Asgard. Gladsheim contains the high seats for Odin and 12 other gods. Vingolf contains the high seats of Frigg and the goddesses. Uh, that means separate yung male god, separate yung mga gods and sa goddesses. That's what I trying trying to say. Okay? And Bifrost. eh, Sorry. Yan. This is the Asgard. And as you can see my rainbow, actually that's a bridge. It's called Bifrost. Bifrost, the place between heaven and earth, the rainbow bridge whose light is fire that burn without ceasing to prevent the giants from crossing over it. Yeah, and nagabantay there si Himdall. Yeah, Himdall. Okay, balik tayo sa Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil. In Yggdrasil, we have Verhelmir, a fearsome well located in Niflheim. Niflheim is the icy land. In Nidhogg, a dreadful serpent lying beside Verhelmir. As you can see, here is a giant serpent. Together with other serpents, they gnaw without respite of the root of the tree, threatening to destroy it. So yeah. And sa ilaha, I think, is katong uh, anak ni Loki. Urd's well, located beside the root of Aesir. Urd's well. It is actually a large lake that lies beneath Yggdrasil. Here, there is a sagacious eagle, a hawk, 4 stags, and a little squirrel. And that squirrel is named Rotatosk, located in Urd's well, which continually runs up and down, bearing evil communication between the eagle and Nidhogg. Yeah. Helheim, the underworld, the domain of hell. The road to Helheim is an icy river called Jol, full of weapons Nothing and no one can leave Helheim, even the gods. The wicked and those who did not die a glorious death in a battle goes there and judge, I mean, judged by hell. Garm, the large dog who guards the entrance of Helheim, has 4 eyes and a bloody chest. Could be appeased with cake as long as they gave the poor bread in life. Will join the giants in Ragnarok. Yeah, these are just the creatures. Racevelg, corpse eater, a giant in the form of the eagle, sits on the Helheim and flaps his wing, making a freezing wind. Yeah, one of the creatures in the Norse mythology. And Valhalla, the hall of the slain, located in Asgard. Those who die a glorious death in a battle goes here. Yeah, it's just between Valhalla and Helheim. Hugin and Munin, the means thought and memory. The two raven of Odin situated in his both sides. Yeah, in his Odin's throne may dalawang raven. Yeah, si Hugin and Munin. Mjolnir, an axe hammer that can destroy giant and mountains in a single blow. Owned by Thor. Sigtivar, the war gods, and Valtivar, the battle gods. Okay, I guess that's it. Let's proceed to the Norse creation myth. Norse creation myth, the myth on how the universe was created according to Nordic people. Okay? In the beginning, there was just a vast empty nest known as Ginungagap or Yinungagap. Okay? Ginungagap, which separate the torrid home of desolation in kingdom of fire of Muspelheim or Muspelheim from the home of fogs and icy land of mist of Niflheim. So bale, nasa gitna ang Ginungagap, ang top ang Niflheim and Muspelheim sa baba. The icy mist Niflheim continued to fill void of Ginungagap and form a large ice block. Yeah, as you can see in this picture depicted, the what you call this, the forming of large ice block. When the temperature in Muspelheim began to increase, the heat emanated from the kingdom of fire started to melt the great icy stone. There flowed forth from Niflheim to Ginungagap chilled stream of venom called Elivagar. Or Eliagar, rather. Yeah, because of the heat from coming from the Muspelheim, the great icy stone started to melt. There flowed forth from Niflheim. Okay. This called the first living being into life. Inside the ice, a prodigious giant or a Jotun, Ymir began to emerge, a primitive divinity who was hibernating inside the ice. Already defrosted, Ymir continued to sleep, but the heat from Muspelheim made the colossal creatures wet, and the first being sprouted from his perspiration. Yeah, from his sweat, there are creatures formed also. Ymir was not the only one who emerged from the ice melting. A large cow named Odhumbla. Yeah. Also emerged from its tits or yeah, tits. Flowed four rivers that fed Ymir. The cow fed itself by licking a block of salty ice, and from the eaten ice, a new creature emerged. Yeah. Silang dalawa ni silang dalawa ni Ymir with Adhumla, yung mga first creatures. From Ymir, in turn sprang other giants. And thus he became the progenitor of all that evil race. The cow fed itself by licking a block of salty ice, and from the eaten ice a new creature emerged. This was Buri, the progenitor of the gods, giving rise to Yutnor or giant. Buri coupled with the giantess, and they both generate their son Bor, who in turn with the giantess and the daughter of Bolthorn, one of the first ice frost giant, Besla, brought to Odin Vili and Ve to the world. These sons of Bor were good and fair to see. They became the forebears of the race of the Aesir. Aesir means the tribe of gods, or the group of gods, deities of Norse mythology dwelling in Asgard. Yeah, Asgard, but in Icelandic, ano, way of saying it, it's Asgard. It's not Asgard. Odin and his brother lived frustrated in the emptiness of Ginnungagap. The sky and the earth were not really yet. I mean, the sky and the earth were not a reality, yet not the sea and the forest. The brothers decided uh, to do something would have to be done, and only after Ymir's death they were able to start the world as we know it. Odin, Vili, and Ve attacked and killed the giant Ymir. The oceans were born from the spilled blood. In his blood, all the giants were drowned except Berhelmir, who with his wife saved himself in means of a boat. The Aesir thus failed to exterminate the race of giants. Berhelmir's kindred grew to a mighty host. The Jotuns were also known by the names Tursar, Rimitursar Etins, Cliff Etins, and Trolls, and they persist in the most evil courses. So that's why giants and the gods they have this. There are more. They are enemies. From the body of Ymir, the sons of Bor made earth, sky, and sea. Firm land emerged from Ymir's flesh, and his large bones were piled up, giving rise to the chains of mountains. His skulls became the vault of heaven, and the brain became clouds. Ymir's flesh had small maggots became dwarves, which originated dwarfs who would live under the earth, and the noble elves who had their dwellings in Alfheim. After having shaped Midgard, the gods are static, could not remain an inhabited kingdom, and seeing two trunks on the edge of the ocean, decided that this material would create a mankind. Yeah. What's the implication of this? This is similar with the Philippine myth about malakas and maganda. And yung tinatawag nila na yung anak sa liking kawayan. Yeah. Like similar to the story here in Norse mythology, the first man and woman, the man was named Ask, and the woman was named Embla. They came from this trunks on the edge of the ocean, and from there they came to existence. They were molded. Odin gave them breath of life, Vili soul and intelligence, and they gave them bodily warmth and color. They carved their eyes. He carved their eyes, ears, and mouth, and so the humankind can hear, see, and speak. All human beings are descendants of this first couple, and for having given life to the first couple, Odin is known as the father of all. And they live in a Midgard, the land of the human. Finally, the brothers created the kingdom of Asgard, which would become the dwelling of the gods. This kingdom was separated from the others, connected by only a bridge called Bifrost, diba? And the reign of gods over the world began. So, yon. Parang Mount Olympus lang. Okay, now. This still the part of Norse creation myth. This there's a story about the how celestial bodies were formed according to Nordic people, according to Norse mythology. This is how the celestial bodies were formed. The sons of Bor likewise created the celestial bodies. Often the sun and the moon are not personified in the Norse understanding. Day and night and sun and moon. First, the world was dark and gloomy place. Even its even with its great open skies, and the gods were obliged to create the sun and the moon so that the life from a man would not be so gloomy and dreary. They also had to invent day and night to make his life on earth better. By day, he could work, farm and fish and hunt, and by night sleep and recover his energy for the following days of work. That's the reason why God created sun and moon, day and night. Even though the gods devised a system of day and night for man's benefit, they set the giants to work in doing so. Night was a giantess. There was a giantess named Night, and the daughter of Narfi, of Utenheim. And she was a beautiful creature with long flowing black hair and dark as raven's wing. Her first husband was a giant called Darkness, with whom he had a baby they they called Space. Her second husband was a mysterious character known simply as the Other, and there are many theories as to his identity. The two had a daughter called Earth, and shortly after the Other vanished, leaving Night alone. Finally, Night married a third husband named Dawn, a blonde-haired figure, and together they had a fair-haired shining son who was called Day. The gods decided to divide each turning of the earth, which took 24 hours, into two halves, to equal dividing into night and day. So, 24 hours divided into two halves, that's 12 hours each. That's night and day. That's the story how the sun and the night originated. There are two deities of the sky, namely Dag or Day, of the Aesir, who rules the day, and Not, who rules the night. Night and day were given a chariot, each and a pair of mighty horses which would gallop so fast that the chariot would lift off from the ground and fly through the sky. Night and day are not alone as they ride through the skies on their endless gallop. Night and day are not alone. The gods created the sun and moon to keep them company. The sun and the moon were fixed in the heavens, at first unmoving, and both could be seen together, whether it was night or day. One day, a man named Mudalfari, means the world turner, who had two beautiful children named Sol and Mani, and they would be counted among the Aesir, and in heaven they run across the sky so that men can reckon their years. The moon and the sun are presumed to be heavenly bodies that are just in the sky, and the sun is said to be pulled by Skinfraxi and with his shining mane. Not is said to be pulled Not or night is said to be pulled by Himfraxi, who lives dew on the ground as he passes. Okay? Sun pulled by Skinfraxi, the shining mane. Night pulled by Himfraxi. Many heathens do follow Sol or Suna as the deity and make offering to her, and Mani or Moon as well, as worship in this way an offering is given to him. Sol and Mani were born to a human Mudalfari. They were named after the sun and moon. At this point, the gods punished Mudalfari's pride by taking his son and daughter. I don't know, but is it just because Mudalfari named them after the sun and moon? Yeah, that's the question. And placing them in the sky with corresponding celestial bodies. The god placed an indestructible shield named Falin, or cold iron, between the chariot of the sun and the horses and the riders. So she rides the mighty horses through the heavens, happy and free in her punishment, fearing only the day of spawn of Fenrir. Fenrir, the wolf, the great black wolf, son of Loki, will uh will catch up with her and swallow the sun. Yeah. The boy moon rides through the heavens just like his sister, but because his task is more complicated, since the moon must wax and wane, the gods permitted him a pair of helpers, two children named Bill and Yuki, who were snatched by the moon from the peak of the mountain where they have been sent by their grandfather to fetch water from a well which sacred to the gods. Uh, that well was referred to the Urd's well. By turns, the boy Bill and his sister Yuki drawn a dark curtain back and forth over the moon for changing its appearance and making it difficult to find for the brother of the black wolf that hunts the sun. This other wolf is a great grey white beast with true spawn of Ragnarok, and it runs frosting in the mouth saliva dripping from its great yellow fangs. Its red eyes gleaming in the darkness, hungry to find and swallow the moon, as it one day must. Ragnarok is inevitable, and even the gods have to accept that one day it will come for their lives too. Are bound by tapestry is woven by the Norns. Sorry, Norns, three weird sisters of destiny. The Norns, the implication of these three weird sister of destiny. They are also is the Greek count as the counterparts for the lesser gods. They tell the destiny through waving a tapestry. Yeah. And the latter part of our discussion or our the report of group 3 we discuss about Ragnarok. Yeah. Okay, that's how the celestial bodies originated the sun. And through that um story about the creation of the celestial bodies, here's the Vikings days of the week. This for them this where the days of the week originated. Is where their names came from. Our days of the week are named in honor of the Norse gods. Sunday for Sol or for Sun, goddess of the sun, Sun's day. Monday or for Mani, goddess of the moon, Mani's day. Tuesday for Tyr, god of war. Wednesday for Odin, the raven god, something known as the Warden. Odin Warden. So that's why Wednesday or Wednesday. Thursday for Thor or Thor, god of strength and storm. That's why Thursday. Friday is for Frick, goddess of marriage. So that's the Frigg's day or Friday. Frick day. That's Friday. That's it. Now, okay, my last story is about Odin and how he lost his one eye. Okay, Odin reigned from high above in his throne in Asgard, but despite of being quite a sagacious god, he was aware that he didn't know everything, and so he began to quest for wisdom. He disguised himself as a wanderer and started to roam in Jotunheim, the land of the giants, enemies of the gods. Mimir lived in this kingdom. Mimir also a giant, a Jotun, a quite ancient deity who was Odin's uncle. There he lived next to the well of knowledge, the Urd's well. The waters of this well fed Yggdrasil, the tree of the worlds. So, Urd's well or the well of knowledge located the roots of the Yggdrasil. That's why uh, that's that water from the well fed Yggdrasil to sustain its life. This water of knowledge can be there's the implication of also about the the tree about knowledge. I mean, this is a counterpart of the the Bible's tree of knowledge of good and evil, 'di ba? Now once you ate the fruit from that tree, you will gain the knowledge of good and evil. So here in Norse mythology, once you from the water of uh drank the water from the well of knowledge, from the Urd's well, you will gain um, wisdom, as they say. Mimir, using the horn of Galahorn, drank the blood water and so the knowledge of the world keep expanding. Once Odin arrived at his uncle's well and asked to drink a bit of the water of knowledge, Odin told Mimir that he is not worthy of his title as the Lord of the Gods if he can't reach the true wisdom. That's what Odin told Mimir. Odin, Mimir would only let Odin drink from the well if he pays the price, which was his eye. Okay, so without any hesitation, Odin plucked his eye out and threw it into the well. His yell of pain was so loud that it echoed throughout the universe. Using the horn of Galahorn, Mimir offered his water of his well and asked Odin to drink everything at once. After having drunk the content of the vessel, the father of all got filled with knowledge. The space once occupied with his eyes was replaced with a major scar which sometimes emanated an intense brightness. Odin then became known as the One-Eyed or the One of the Flaming Eye. From the day forward, Odin started to see the world with much more clarity, and now with just one eye, he could see much better than he had with both. So yun. That's how Odin's got his knowledge and wisdom. Yeah, I guess ano, that's the last tale that I'm going to tell you guys. Since this is a recorded video, I can't answer questions as of this uh, moment. But yeah, I hope you somehow understand the stories. And to discuss further, I will give the chance for my teammates to explain the rest of the stories about Norse mythology. Okay, thank you for listening, guys.